We've been real busy around here lately. We've been making plans for the winter. Went and visited Harold and R&W. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. We've been doing fall cleanup. We got the boathouse buttoned up. And we've got a neighbor boy named Aaron who's been coming around and giving us a hand with some of the fall cleanup. And I've been teaching him to drive the old farm truck here because I was about his age when I learned to drive the farm truck at the time, which no longer exists. And Aaron added this scrape to the farm truck, which is, I think, the rite of passage. The first time I got to drive something, it was an ATV, and I drove it directly into the side of my grandfather's truck, which subsequently became the first time I ever saw or got to help with body work. And that's part of the fun of having the farm and having an old farm truck. When we picked up the cedar logs, we took the bucket home for the guy because it didn't fit with all the logs, and he went to put it in the truck in the dark and he crunched the bed here. Aaron ran into a tree up in the woods. He got a little too close on the corner, put a scrape there, but yeah, that's what the old Chevy's for. And when she finally dies, we'll sell her for scrap and buy another farm beater. But let's get some fall cleanup done and get some more work done on the refrigerator. Do you remember your first time driving when you were spinning the tires, you were pressing the gas so hard?
Yeah.
Bumped into the tree and the log pile. I think this is like your fourth time driving, doing way better.
Can't see anything.
Yeah, you can't see over the hood going over the hills. Yep, stop about there. Go ahead, throw her in park.
There, we're in park.
Perfect. Well, we're about to do something we've never done before. So it's Tuesday. We are gonna pour some 2-part foam for this. So we've got our reefer here, and in the inside we wedged in some plywood and some blocks and put the foam on, which we fit earlier. And as you can see, we've screwed some sheets of plywood around the outside. And the reason for this is we are using this 2-part polyurethane foam
from Total Boat. And if you read the instructions in the back, they say that it can reach upwards of 5 psi, which is pretty significant. We shouldn't see that because we're pouring into these slits, so any of the pressure should have a chance to come up and escape. If we were to pour foam and put the lid on, we'd probably be in trouble. But the glass for this has come out so well that I really don't want to mess it up at this stage, and figured that putting the plywood on the outside and the inside would help assure that we don't end up with some big bubble if this foam creates too much pressure. And we know that this expands at an incredible rate, and we've never used it before. So we're going to mix up just a little batch and pour it and see how it behaves and see how big it becomes, and then do it for real. Part A. Part B. It says we should mix it for about 15 seconds and that the reaction happens pretty much immediately. Alright, so it's changing colors. I think we'll be able to pour that no problem. Oh, now is it starting to go? Oh, now it's going. And my question is, can you still pour it, or is it becoming sticky? Alright, so now it's becoming sticky. Sixteen, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, calling it. Oh, we're coming out the bottom. Oh yeah, it flowed all the way down to like here.
Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, oh, it's starting to climb.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go, bub. Oh, that's a lot of foam. Oh, geez, a lot of foam. Where's that stick? Here it comes.
Hold on, here it comes.
Here it comes. All right, where's the lid?
Oh, man. You doing that?
Why not? Do you hear it? Oh yeah, I can totally hear it. Right here. Well, should we go winterize the thicknesser and we'll let this kick and then we can take it apart and see how it is?
Yeah.
Think I wrapped it up well enough?
It's got a little blanket on it.
Yeah, so winter's coming, and every winter Grandpa goes around and tests the radiators and all the machines and makes sure that the fluid has a low enough freezing point so we don't break any blocks. And he checked this one and it didn't register, so there was too much water, not enough antifreeze. And I was gonna do it yesterday, but we went out to Harold and that went a little differently than we thought, so we got back a lot later than we thought, and it got cold last night. So instead of trying to start this up at almost 8 o'clock last night, I just decided to put blankets over it, wrap it all up like a burrito, cross our fingers. So today we're gonna see if we can fire it up and get the fluid switched out so it's safe for the winter. Well, it's not frozen, that's good.
Oh, yeah, they.
So this one must be, Grandpa said he opened one of them, which must have been this one, because that's reading that we're good to negative 35.
Yeah, this is in Wisconsin.
So
That'll do it.
we're not going to get to negative 35.
I think that'll do it.
Get out of here, Spidey.
Hello, buddy.
Oh, weird. Some of it somehow made it through the fiberglass.
Yeah. Just found its way through each layer. 6 layers. Found a dot, you know, like one piece of weave to move through. And then the next and the next. Which shows you how much, I mean, that's all that got through.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can see where it filled and didn't fill, huh?
Mm-hmm. But it's trapped air. Like there's no air flowing now,
No.
right? Which is the kind of the
Good
point.
point, yeah. That's wild. Now we got to figure out how we're going about connecting the old glass to the new glass. Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Steve, how you been?
Good, man. Long time no see.
Yeah, you too.
How's your summer?
I said, yeah, you too. That doesn't make sense in context, does it?
Sure it does.
Does it?
It's fine.
Take 3.
How's your summer?
Oh, it was busy, but fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, out on the boats, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sailing out of Rockland,
Nice.
the Windjammers.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got here?
We got some banjo templates. I was hoping you could loan me some wood for.
Loan you some wood? You want the wood back when you're done?
Yeah, I'll take it apart and mail it back.
Nice. So you're starting banjo production?
Yep, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna build the one and then see if it works, and then maybe make improvements. Maybe make some for friends. Who knows?
Nice. That sounds like fun.
But I'm doing it out of the Foxfire. But
I was just gonna say, that brings back memories. When I was, my grandparents have a copy. I grew up flipping through them. There's some really fun stuff in those.
yeah, it's there's a whole section on banjos and dulcimers in here, of the old Appalachia style,
Nice.
late 1800s sort of stuff.
I learned to play the dulcimer a little bit when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could play like Mary Had a Little Lamb, I think, and that was about it. But way
Do you
back.
still have one?
I think so. It needs some repair work done to it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the panels cracked years and years ago, but I think it's still at my mom's house.
So the 3 major components here are the head. It has a hard top head as opposed to a hide head.
Okay.
So it's going to end up being probably a 1/4 inch thick of something soft to make it resonant. The neck and the fretboard here just kind of rough templated out. I just made it to the maximum length it would be, and it's probably going to end up being shorter than this. But this will have to be something out of something real stable and preferably quarter sawn. Maple would be really nice, or figure it out. And then the last big component is the rim itself.
Right, I assume that goes around the head.
It does, yeah.
Gotcha.
It goes around like that. This is going to be about 3/8 of an inch thick, and then steam bent.
Okay.
So something ash would probably work really well for that.
Yeah, ash steam bends really nicely, and it's a little more stable and a bit lighter than oak. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think stable is going to be key. It's going to be in and out of humid environments, and I'm just going to glue it with old brown glue, which is kind of the modern iteration on hide glue.
Okay.
So I don't want it to separate from the head at all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you where the ash pile is, and I don't even think I'm going to put any ash in the boat, other than maybe like math soups or something. But so you can have your run of the ash, whatever you want, you can have.
Okay.
You helped harvest and mill that as well, so. And then yeah, I got definitely a piece of maple that you can cut the fretboard out of, and we'll have to go over to the cedar rack, but pretty sure there's something over on the cedar rack that'll work.
What's in reserve for the last of the planking?
You know, I've got a whopping 2 planks to get out of all of this cedar, so I'm not super stressed about it. Might have a candidate here.
Oh yeah.
So if you took one, just that would give you 2 banjos worth then, right? Mm-hmm. You get 4 heads out of that, no problem. You could even probably get 3 out of this if you cut it real careful like.
Yeah. Be nice to have at least have 2 of them in case I string it up when I'm done and it doesn't sound good and I want to put a back on it or something.
Yep. Well, we're gonna go do some more glass work. I'm gonna leave you to your misery. But yeah, feel free to grab what you need for tools. You can fire up the big bandsaw and resaw this.
Okay.
And I'll show you what you need to do for the small thicknesser if you want to run that. Joiners there, because that's a new machine than last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, holler if you need anything.
Cool.
So Ann and I had gone through and put the first layer of glass on it, and those were offcuts from when we were down at Narwhal Labs and had done the interior. So we had to kind of piece things together a bit, and then we wanted to do a fill coat to make sure that that weave was filled up really well. So all I did was I ended up doing what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for all of the sides. So I'd put one side up, mix up a bunch of the high performance epoxy, and would just pour it over the top of it, squeegee it out to fill in all the weave, fill in any of the low spots. And I used the fast cure so that I'd let that kick, and then as soon as that was sticky enough that it wasn't going to sag or move, I would tip the box and do another face, tip the box, do another face, and between all of that, I went and read electrical books. So I got one of the books done, plowed through that. I'm going to try to tackle another today as I wrap up the glass work on this. So the next step is to go through with the sander and just knock down all of these little dribbles that I have and any spots that aren't really nice and smooth, and we want to rough the glass up so that we get a good bond with the next layer. We'll actually be roughing the epoxy up. At this point we shouldn't even be hitting the glass. Get that roughed up and knock down these couple little high spots, and then we can wet this out, and the next 2 layers on it are going to be 6-ounce cloth, and then we're going to do a little trim piece at the flange to seal that up really well, and it'll be onto the lid. Looking forward to getting this done and getting back to some woodworking. The glass is very functional, but I don't particularly love working with it.
It was great to see Aaron, and he brought back a little blast of the past. So when I was a kid, my grandparents had the full Foxfire series on the shelf at their house, and it was something that I remember flipping through when I was probably too young to even really read the words, and read them and used them and built things out of them as I got older. So to see the Foxfire books, I haven't looked at them in years, and I went up and saw my grandparents and asked if I could borrow the series and bring it down. So here we have it. And they cover pretty much every topic you can think about with living kind of off the land in the Appalachian Mountains in the Northeast, East Coast. So whether you want to know some ghost stories, build some musical instruments, tan some hides, churn some butter, make a praying rock, some pottery, midwifing, burial customs, corn shuckins, hog dressing, log cabin building, planting by the signs, snake lore, hunting tales, faith healing, moonshining. Pretty much everything you need to know is here.
And people can still get them, right?
Yeah, you actually can get them. So if you go to, I believe it's foxfire.org, you'll find them and you can purchase the books. You can also find used copy places, but they're really entertaining. They're definitely worth a read. Some of it is just like, holy smokes, we lived that way, and not that long ago, which is kind of mind-boggling. But there's still a lot of things that are applicable today, you know. Berry buckets and gardening, I'm sure that there's not much that has changed there. Same thing with processing a hog. It's pretty much, that hasn't changed either. But anyways, they're worth a look. Check them out. Enjoy.